Hi guys, I wanted to talk you through kind of the creation of a creative ad. You guys have already done the draft, you've already submitted it and everything, so you're looking for refinement from your peers and from me. I'm looking at all of them, I'm sending you the feedback, but I wanted to go through my mock project, okay? So that when you watch the second video that will really apply to what you're doing this week, which is the refinements, you'll have a better idea of how I went ahead and kind of did the refinements. But one thing that I really wanted to focus on is that I know the skills that we've taught you this week seem a little bit hard and weird, and that's okay. Some of you have done really well with it. Some of you have told me you're struggling, and there's a lot of you in between, okay? So I wanted to show you my mock project and kind of tell you how I worked through the process in case you're just feeling super uncomfortable with where your draft stands right now, okay? There's still plenty of time to work on it, improve it, change it even if you want, all right? So this is what I did. I did the product generator. I got a camera. I decided before I picked a brand or an idea that I was going to go look at stock photography. That's just how it worked for me. So I looked at commercial free stock on unsplash.com, I think is where I got this. And I remembered that from the project requirements, that I have to have at least 2 images blended together for the assignment, right? So I went and found a camera, and the one that I found that I really liked was this Canon camera. When I was looking for it, my image, I also knew that I wanted some space so that I'd have enough room to put my headline. Okay, so that's one thing that I looked for as I found my image. Once I found this image and I knew that the camera had Canon written on it, then I just decided Canon was my brand, which led me to the second thing that I knew I needed, which was a logo. Okay, Canon often runs their logos on a black square. So because that's a typical branding element for them, I went ahead and I just searched Canon logo, and then I put PNG or transparent background when I searched, and that gave me this logo, okay? If you have logos that you want to search for transparent one, if it doesn't really work with their branding to leave it on a black background like this, then you don't want to leave it that way, okay? You want to make sure that it's all transparent. But because Canon has the white on black, then I just took that freestanding logo that they had, okay? So that was another project requirement that I fulfilled. I knew that I needed one more image because just overlaying a logo on top of an image does not count. Then I needed something else that I was going to blend in. So that's when I started thinking about, okay, what would come into play with a headline and everything else. So I thought about taking pictures at the beach because that's what it is, a camera at the beach. And I thought, okay, usually when you look at beach images, it's always big scenes, right? Landscapes. The waves coming in, tidal waves, a pier, kind of a distant shot across like to the other side of the island, like if you think of a Hawaiian island landscape. Also, the other thing that you might see, lighthouses, that kind of thing, okay? So because this is very clearly a warm beach area, and it has a pier, and then I thought, okay, that's a very big thing. What juxtaposes or really contrasts with that? And I thought small things. So we know Canon cameras take huge, beautiful landscapes, but we also want to focus on the fact that Canon's awesome at providing equipment that takes really great pictures of small things, right? So, I decided what's something small. I thought about seashells and tiny fish and different things. And I thought, no, let's do a hermit crab because that will be pretty easy to blend in because it's right here with all this beach, right? So I went and searched on Google and I typed in hermit crab white background. And the reason that I chose the white background is because I knew I needed to blend it into the already existing image. I needed to look like it was sitting right here on the beach, okay? So with that said, why I chose the white background is because if you think back to the worksheet, Brother Libert taught us about using the selection tools and then masking out backgrounds. And the worksheet exercise that he did this in is the one that has the mountains and the ice cream cone, okay? Remember, the ice cream cone was sitting on a green background. And he went in and used the quick selection tool to basically select everything but the ice cream cone. Then he went up and inverted it so it was just the ice cream cone selected. And then he masked out that background, right? So if you don't remember exactly, go back and check out that video because that will help you. It helped me, okay? Mask the hermit crab so that it looked like it was sitting on the beach, okay? So I knew how to do it. But that's the worksheet. That's the portion of the worksheet that I'm going to use to apply to make my ad work. Okay. Now I'll be honest. When I searched my crab, he was very translucent looking. He was all white, which kind of is what crabs look like. But I wanted him to be kind of more orange. I wanted to show him more contrast in color in my ad. So what I did was just draw, after I extracted him out, after I masked him out, I drew an orange square over the top of him on a second layer. And then I took the opacity way down so I could kind of see his faint silhouette. And then I masked out so that the orange right here on his shell was very light. And then I did it again and I made the orange right here on his body darker. Okay. So I did some additional work. You do not have to do any of that. Okay. You can, it would make it look really realistic. Okay. But that's what I did. The other thing is that you can tell over here in my layers panel. So see how it says hermit crab. I'll draw a line so you can see. Right here it says hermit crab. Okay. I went ahead and added in this crab shadow. Okay. So if I turn the view off, you see the shadow. Whoops, hold on. Let me turn off my pen. You see the shadow disappear underneath that hermit crab. So see how there's no shadow right here above tiniest. And then I actually applied a shadow. Okay. You can look up how to do that if you want. This kind of thing is not required. Part of the reason I did that is because the light is coming in. You can see the kind of the reflection here. And so I said there's light coming in here. So to make this look the most realistic, like this crab was actually there when the photo was shot, would be to give this guy a little bit of a shadow so that it just gives that impression that the light's still coming in the same way. Okay. So that kind of thing's something to pay attention to. You want to look and see, okay, are there any little additions that I can add to make this look even more realistic, like it was actually shot exactly like this, that they found a little hermit crab, they set the camera down, they took a picture, okay? That's the type of blending you want to do, okay? So once I had this, I typed in my headline and I thought, oh, I'll add some contrasting typography. I made it look like it was an editing mark because I chose a slab font, and then I also chose a handwritten font, so because I know those contrast really well from what we learned in the course. And so I was like, ooh, because it's a handwriting font, I'll just say, it's just a little caret and it's a little editor's mark for addition to add in tiniest, which really draws attention because of the proximity between the word tiniest and the crab. Okay, so that is my ad. I filled everything out in my project report. I submitted it to the VoiceThread, and then in the second video, I'm going to go ahead and cover with you what refinements I have to make, okay? So I'll see you in the second video.